Imagine living in a country where the power to shape laws and policies rests directly in the hands of the people, a place where every citizen has a say, and the final word belongs to them, not to politicians or distant elites. Sounds like a dream, doesn't it? Welcome to Switzerland, my other homeland, and as someone who's Swiss and American, I can't help but wonder, what if we brought a little Swiss precision to the American democracy? First off, let's dive into the Swiss system. In Switzerland, by the help of referendums and initiatives, the people truly have the final say. If citizens disagree with a law passed by the Swiss parliament, they can call for a referendum by gathering 50,000 signatures within 100 days. If over 50% of voters reject a given law, that's it. It doesn't pass. And when it comes to changing or amending the constitution, a popular initiative requires 100,000 signatures and has to be approved by a double majority, meaning a majority of both the voters and the 26 cantons have to vote in favor. Even if a parliament successfully passes a constitutional amendment, it still needs to go through a vote and be approved by a double majority before it can be enacted into law. So what's the impact of this system? Well, for starters, it keeps politicians in check and makes sure that laws aren't just handed down from high, but actually reflect what the people want, which causes for more engagement and just overall healthier democracy. Think of it like giving everyone a key to the government's front door and kind of a short leash on politicians. Contrast this with the USA, a lot of Americans feel like they aren't represented by either parties. You can also see frustration in how people describe American politics, with the words such as divisive, corrupt, and polarized being the first ones that come to mind. We've all seen how extreme partisan disagreements can stall or block essential legislation on crucial issues such as gun control or immigration. This is where the Swiss system really shines. It lets citizens vote directly on issues instead of on elected officials. Imagine being able to vote on healthcare reform directly rather than watching endless debates between parties that can't even agree on crucial issues within their own ranks. By allowing citizens to vote on these issues, we could actually get meaningful action that reflects the will of the people. Now, of course, nothing's perfect, sadly, and some might worry that direct democracy could lead to rash decisions rather than decisions led by reason. And while that's a fair concern, in Switzerland, there are safeguards in place to prevent that. Issues go through extensive deliberation before they even make it to the ballot. And if this were to be an idea in America, we could adopt similar measures. On a different scale, perhaps, but that would still address this issue effectively. And another concern might be the complexity of the issue. Not every citizen has the expertise to vote on complex policy issues, right? And in Switzerland, they've already thought of that. With every referendum or initiative, you get a booklet such as this. For instance, this is about the most recent one that hasn't been decided upon yet about biodiversity. And in it, you get a short description of the issue, a detailed description of the issue, and then the arguments from both sides. So from the initiative committee and what they recommend you vote, and from the parliament and what they recommend you vote. This ensures that every citizen is informed about that vote that they're making and that they're well educated on whichever topic. And let's talk scale. The US has 350 million citizens, which means this is no small feat. And while it might be not entirely realistic to replace the current system with a Swiss model, we could definitely incorporate some substantial elements. National referendums could be reserved for major issues, with safeguards like requiring a large number of signatures to initiate a vote. This would keep the system from being too overwhelmed. Also, let's not forget about technology, because secure online voting should be a part of the discussion. It's already been tested in states like West Virginia, Colorado, and Utah, and while some are concerned about security, but with advances in tech, we can create secure systems. Blockchain, which was already utilized in states like West Virginia, for example, offers records that are incredibly hard to tamper with. And you might be thinking, hey, we already have some direct democracy in the US, at least at the state level. You'd be right, but there's a catch. Often the outcomes of these state-level initiatives can be easily overruled by a governor or challenged by the courts. In Switzerland, there is nothing higher than the word of the people. That is it. That is the final say, and no one can overrule them. And I'm not saying that the Swiss system is perfect. No system is. And as Winston Churchill famously said, democracy is the worst form of government, except for all of those other forms that have been tried from time to time. But what Switzerland shows us is that democracy can be refined and improved. So as someone who proudly calls both Switzerland and America home, I see the potential in merging the best of both worlds, or at least getting the conversation started. It's about giving everyone a real voice and making sure that the government serves us and not the other way around. Thank you.